Good morning. We're going to talk real estate. It's July 6th, and let's talk about the state of the real estate market and how it affects you. Right now, you have to worry about interest rates, the rising supply of homes, the horrible nightmare in the condo market, the wage gap, new construction, rising prices, commercial real estate lawsuit, iBuyers, Zillow Open Door. Sales prices down, affordability is still down, rental rates are up, home insurance is crazy, flood insurance, hurricanes. What do? Should you wait for rates to come down? Should you sell your investment property for fear of a real estate market crash? Should you buy because you think rates are rising and prices are rising and they'll continue to rise? What does it matter and how does it affect you? If you own a home and are happy, none of this matters. If you rent, it's likely your goal is to buy. If you own a bunch of real estate investments, you're definitely going to be affected. If you're on a fixed income and rising insurance and taxes will likely force you to sell, you're affected. If you're an investor or someone with money that wants to be a smart steward of their money, you're watching and you're pondering. Do I buy or sell? Do I collect or run? No one can predict the future. I spent 18 years in the financial services industry, and now I've got 25 years. This draft was last year's. 25 years in real estate, and I can tell you for sure that nobody can predict the future. All you can do is take the current status quo and make decisions based on your observations. I'm here to help. Those are just pictures of some of my deals, and this is just my contact information. So I went on to ChatGPT, and hopefully I still have it open. And I asked, what are the current events and the current trends that are affecting real estate as of today? And it's responded, condo safety regulations are being reduced. They had a knee-jerk reaction to that condo falling in Sunrise, and it just crushed the condo market with all the new requirements and inspections, and so they've eased them a bit. Cape Coral plummets to nation's lowest housing market. Prices dropped 11% over 2 years. Home values in trouble, especially in Florida. Florida home buyers who bought at high interest rates, 6.5% or above, are stuck amidst limited refinancing options and soaring insurance costs. There's a lot of people coming from New York because of the mayoral I guess people don't like this guy. I don't know anything about it, but you never know when you punch into ChatGPT what they're going to say. Climate risks, medium sales prices are down 2%, home sales are down 12%, homes for sale is up 14%, the time on the market went up by 12 days, condos are crushed. If you haven't watched my videos before, you know I was writing a rap song. You say condo, I say townhouse. You say condo, I say villa. You can still buy low maintenance properties, but condos are suspect. Market cooling and seller squeeze, commercial and relocation. Commercial got crushed by COVID because it was discovered that you didn't have to go to the office. Why these developments matter, what to watch going forward. Insurance availability. Now, they did announce a couple of new insurance companies are now in Florida. Bottom line, Florida real estate market is confronting a convergence of forces, tightened regulation and relief cycles, regional price collapses, mortgage and insurance affordability, climate-driven financial risk. Stay alert to upcoming sales data, insurance policy changes, and legislative updates. All right, well, what I always try to do is look at the market, analyze the market, and see what's going on in my market. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of the counties that I follow is Pasco County. I follow it because it's like a microcosm of the state of Florida. So if we look at Pasco County right now, and let's clear active Pasco. Since I know these numbers intimately, I can talk about this county, and it gives us a kind of a view of the whole counties. So 4,708 matches are the actives. That's down a little bit. Pendings, 1,585 is sort of consistent over the last few weeks. It was a little bit higher. And then for solds, I like to do go back 7 days and then 37 days, and that gives me a better view of versus going back 30 days from today, because transactions from today and yesterday and the day before are likely not updated. So 1,584 properties have sold in that 30-day period. So what we always want to do is look at the supply. So we know the actives are 4,708, and we know the 30 days sold. So let's go ahead and do 4,708 divided by, let's get the solds. We're 1,584, 1,584. So it's under 3 months supply. So, you hear all this bad stuff, but it doesn't really mean that the data for the last 4 weeks is representative of it. So now I've got this property in Clearwater, and I'm going to use it as an example of the market, at least in one criteria. And if you're buying a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home, this is going to be a completely different world. If you can buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home, you have a lot of choices. People don't want them. The prices are cheap. I actually know landlords that are inclined to buy these because they don't want big families in there. So let's look at Clearwater as our example, and that is in Pinellas County. So right now, there are over 5,000 listings in Pinellas County, which really makes it challenging to analyze. There's 1,214 properties in Clearwater. If you're one of my buyers, you're going to hear me talking about how you just can't buy in a flood zone. The cost of flood insurance and the risks are just too high. And even though you might not be in a flood zone, you probably should still buy flood insurance. There's 857 properties. Let's go down and take out the housing for older people. If you have an interest in that market, please, I'm very versed in it. But for now, let's look at single family houses. Now, one of the things that I'm recommending if you are a buyer and you are looking at the area is that you look at block homes. We have tornadoes in Florida now, and we didn't. It seemed like, I've been in Florida. I moved to Florida the first time in 1977, and we did not have tornadoes, but now we do. We had a devastating tornado in Seminole and in Pinellas County, and 65 mobile homes got crushed. So I would definitely say buying a block home is critical. All right, so if we do 3 bedrooms under $400,000, there's 34 properties. If we do 4 bedrooms, there's 39 properties. Now, it's likely that somebody's going to want to have at least 2 bathrooms. And if you're willing to take 2 bathrooms, you're probably willing to take 3 bathrooms. So that'll give us 2 more properties. And the classic is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage. And if we go down to under 400,000, there's only 3 properties in this criteria, and you can't analyze 3 properties. So let's go ahead and get some more properties. Let's go to 450,000. We have 14 properties. Okay, this is great. And if we're willing to pay 450,000 for a 2-car garage, we'd certainly be willing to pay for a 3-car garage. It didn't give us any more, but we do have 14 properties to discover. So let's talk about what's going on in Clearwater. Envoy is a house that's tainted. It needs a roof. It's got unpermitted work. The floors are settling. It's had plumbing problems. The kitchen is old. The bathrooms are old, and it's been on the market for 54 days. It is the cheapest house in Clearwater. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and 2-car garage, not in a flood zone. You know what I didn't do is paved roads, but I don't think there are very many roads that aren't paved in Pinellas County. Here we have Osage, $389,000, been on the market for 10 days. Park Street, $399,000, listed for 2 days. $401,000, 9 days. 192 days. This one says it's acreage. That means it has land, and it is 1/3 of an acre, and $415,000. This is an older home, I'm certain, 1953. 424,000, 96 days on the market. 1981 house, likely to have higher ceilings. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2-car garage, $430,000. It's $280 a square foot. This has been on the market for 41 days. What we're going to find is when we get into the pendings and the solds, we're going to see the real market. If you've watched my videos, you know the real market is not the actives. The market is the solds. It's just like the stock market or fantasy sports. How do you monitor the market? It's not by looking at the actives on Zillow. And here's the last one in this criteria so we can move on. $450,000, been on the market for 17 days, meticulously renovated, move-in ready. Highland Estates. Let's go ahead and do the real analysis. So let's talk about the pendings, because the way to watch the market is through the pendings and the solds. 14 properties are under contract in this criteria. Now, what we're really going to be looking for is the days on market. 3 days on the market. You're going to find that the hot deals all have low days on market. 15 days on market, 2 days on market, 10 days on market, 10 days on market, 6 days on market, 24 days. Interestingly, we're at $294 a square foot, and that's one way to analyze them. How do you apples and apples, oranges, oranges? How do you compare apples to apples? One way is to look at list price per square foot, and that'll take out the variables regarding some of the larger homes. You'll find the larger homes have a lower price per square foot. Here we have 1,800 square feet on a higher priced home, but because of the higher square footage, the price per square foot is lower. This took 35 days, 2 days, 18 days, 43 days, and this was 8 days at $298 a square foot. So all the best deals, either price-wise or amenity-wise, sell the fastest. So let's see what's happening in the solds, because here we can look at the price per square foot, we can look at the sold price per square foot, and we can look at the difference between the asking price and the sold price, and this will give us a really good view of what's going on in the 322 market. This one went under contract in 35 days. They were asking $399. It sold for $359. Good bone, solid location, undeniable potential. That's code for needs work. $420,000 sold for $396,000 in 89 days to go under contract. 17 days, $419 sold for $405. $460,000 sold for $405,000. $419,000 sold for $410,000. 85 days. 8 days sold for $10,000 less than the asking price. And these are all non-flood zone properties. There's always going to be a premium for the non-flood zone properties. $407,000 sold for over the asking price. Likely they were able to get the seller to pay for some closing fees and raise the price, but maybe not. $430,000 sold for $417,000 in 16 days. $464,000 sold for $421,000 in 44 days. Now, I didn't do the ones without a fee, although this one's only $33 a month. But fees generally mean that there's a HOA, and if there's an HOA, there's likely deed restrictions. A lot of my buyers don't want deed restrictions. $425,000. They were asking $465,000. Look at this. The days on market are higher, and that's going to be a pattern. $297 a square foot. So if you're buying for under $300,000 in Clearwater, looks like it might be a deal. $439,800 sold in 10 days for $425,321 a square foot. $449,000 sold for $425,000 went under contract in 27 days. Obviously, it took a lot longer to actually have the closing. $465,000 sold for $430,000. $439,000 sold for more than the asking price in 5 days. And this one is $31 a month. 469,000 sold for 445,000, and it is 15 minutes into this video. I would love to put my contact information back up. There it is. I appreciate you watching my videos, and I wish you the best. Have a great day. Bye now.